This would be Thursday, September 29th, as we get into idioms today. One, we have the book report due in 13 days, so it's due 2 weeks from yesterday. It's on Wednesday, October 12th. You can turn it in early next week, and that gets you the 5 extra credit points or the 5 extra B points. And also, 9 weeks assessment coming up on Monday. You have 3 stories you're going to have to read. They're nonfiction articles. We're going to talk about bullying. We're going to have you download those 3 articles here. There's a new page on my website called 9 Weeks Assessment. There's 3 stories there. Download those. It's about 2 kids that got bullied, and then one about a guy who gives advice to bullies. Not bullies, but advice to kids who got bullied. He does not give advice to bullies, except stop what you're doing. I was about to ruin the image and style that you're used to. Sorry, I had to bust it. That's an old throwback. Poetry handouts from there. Also, we're going to have idiom notes to help you out, and so you can download these or on my website, and they're going to help guide you today. And now, idioms. Here's the part where if you look on the notes that you just downloaded, you're going to see this screen, which has the same blanky thing. You're going to be filling this in as we go through and do it. Or, if you'd rather do it on the paper version, that's fine. You just sort of have to draw it and write it in as we go through to help you out from there. 1, you know what an idiom is already. Well, at least you use idioms all the time. It's a phrase that we use to make our language more fun, but the problem is they're very confusing to people who don't speak English. Like before the race yesterday, my runners were sweating bullets because they were worried about how the race was going to go. If you don't speak English, that's going to sound like a very confusing phrase. Because you're like, Mr. Brovicast, why did your runners have small pieces of metal coming out of their body? Are they eating the wrong diet? I'm like, well, they are, but that's a whole different issue. And so that's the idea. Whereas, have you guys ever heard the phrase sweating bullets? Mm-hmm. What does it mean if someone says that you are sweating bullets? Robertson?
You're like sweating a lot.
More than just sweating a lot, but you're on the right track. That's a good start, though. Kennedy? That would be a synonym for sweating a lot. It's usually, Liam?
It's like your sweat is, you're able to see the sweat.
Getting on the right track. It's more the reason for the sweat is usually the sweating bullets. Rivers?
Because you're nervous about something?
There you go. It's usually connected to nervousness. And so, I mean, I sweat a lot when I play basketball, but I'm not necessarily sweating bullets. The sweating bullets have been the nerves. And the fact that we're racing against like these 3 other schools, and they were like, I don't know what's going to happen, and they're all freaking out, getting all to it. That's sweating bullets. That's what an idiom is. It's a phrase that has 2 meanings. It can mean that you either have a whole bunch of little pieces of metal that are firing out of your skin, or it could mean the fact that you have a bunch of water coming out of you profusely because you're super nervous. So an idiom, by definition, is a phrase with 2 definitions. There's a figurative and a literal. So as you see it on there, we'll have you just write this down. That way for later on you can come back and refer to it. An idiom is a phrase with 2 definitions, figurative and literal. Then to help you out, in those yellow boxes, you're going to write figurative on one side and literal on the other. Because we're going to write down the 2 different definitions. And then we're going to take a look at some examples of what idioms are. Mr. Brovicast, I learned about these in the 3rd grade. Oh, stop bragging. They're still fun to do. And they're going to give you a chance to draw a picture of them. So your 2 definitions, figurative, literal. Because we're going to break down every idiom into the 2 different parts. The figurative side and the literal side. And on the price side, this page is the only notice we're going to do. You're going to keep coming back and referring to this page. Because I'll like get to the next part and I'll say, hey, what are the 2 definitions of an idiom? And you'll go, I don't know. And I'll go, look at your notes. And they'll go, oh, figurative and literal. I'm like, oh, high five. And everybody go. The figurative definition is the one that you guys already know. It's the common definition. So when you find out that I say I'm sweating bullets, you'll go, oh, that's the one that's going to mean that obviously you're very nervous and water is pouring out of your body. So the figurative one is the common definition, is the one that we know it to mean. So figurative, common, everyday, use it all the time. The one that should not be too confusing. In theory. because let's say you were up until 2:30 last night doing homework, and you're like, oh, Mr. Broviak, I'm so sleepy. Like, I bet you'd like to catch some Z's right now. And you go, what? Mr. Broviak, why would I want to go and grab the letter of the alphabet? That's so confusing. Instead, if I say you want to catch some Z's, what do you know that phrase to mean, Goose?
You want to take some sleep.
There you go. So to catch some Z's, the figurative definition would mean the fact that you are wanting to get some sleep. The literal one is when you take it word for word. It's the funny definition. So when I tell Goose you should catch some Z's, and she responds back with, I'm not going to go out and grab the letter of the alphabet, that's so weird. I'm like, oh, silly Goose. No one's talking about that. Ooh. Or once again referring to my cross-country runners. Yesterday, before we got ready to run, I looked at one of them and I was like, all right, you're going to own this race. It's going to be all you. Go out there and break a leg. If those of you who know what that phrase means, I was not trying to intimidate my runner and letting her know that if she did not win, I was going to cripple her. What was it I was trying to tell my runner when I say break a leg? Woodchuck?
Go try your hardest.
Yeah, it means good luck. Try your hardest. Go do a really good job. As opposed to, if you don't win this race, coming back with a 2x4, you're limping for the rest of your life. I mean, that is how I motivate them. I was saying at that particular time. Usually I would tell them, you don't run your best race, I'm coming after you. There's, keep running all the way home, because if I catch you, you're done. You're the best coach ever. Thanks. Alright, so you have this part down, so now we can start applying and see how well it goes into. Don't you shake your head at me. Who?
When?
Exactly.
Well, I was typing phrase
Where?
and it came up princess.
What?
Obviously, you type princess a lot, if that's going to be the first thing that your autocorrect comes up with. You're just all the time. Kylie, the princess.
Thanks.
You're welcome, princess.
I think that's your new nickname.
What? I would never mock a child. That's not me at all. Alright. We're going to keep going back to these, so have faith in yourself. I'm going to make it disappear now. Wooga wooga. Alright. So as an example, let's say I go with, you're driving me up a wall. This part you don't have to write down. This is just me going through and helping you guys out. So we're going to do some examples. This is where you want to keep it on that screen you just wrote things down on, so you can refer back to it and sort of help you out as we go into it. But first off, how many of you guys have heard this phrase? Because I used it yesterday with my classes because they were driving me up a wall. All right, we'll see how it goes. The good news is, let's back up. Sydney, no, I don't think I'm Sydney yet. We're going to Wyatt, pick on you first. Come back to Sydney in a moment. What are the two definitions of an idiom? What are the two words? One starts with an F, one starts with an L.
Figurative and literal.
Are you asking me? I'm asking you.
Figurative and literal.
Good job, Wyatt. We have figurative and literal. The good thing is, if you have no idea what this phrase means, and you go, Mr. Brovicast, I've never seen that phrase in my life, you're fine, because everyone can do the literal one. Even if you've never heard of it before, and you go, Mr. Brovicast, I think you made that up, then you should be able to do this one, because you take it word for word. Figurative only works if you've heard it before. So going from there, Sydney, what does, not the figurative of this, just what is the definition of figurative mean? What did you write down for your definition of figurative?
What we know about the phrase.
Nicely done. What we know the phrase to mean, the common definition. Sydney, what does it mean when I say that my fifth period was driving me up the wall yesterday and I almost had to strangle one of them? Wait before you answer. I have one more thing. Anytime that you give me the figurative or the literal, I'm going to let you not be a globetrotter. So you cannot globetrotter it. What that means is you cannot reuse the words from the idiom. So you cannot come back and go, oh, well, obviously it means you were like driving up a wall. Throat punch. So what you're going to have to do is change like driving and wall. We're going to use these things called synonyms. And so you're going to have to use your synonyms to come up with something else. All right, Sydney. Now that you feel properly intimidated, break a leg.
Come on, Sydney.
If they were annoying,
Be strong. I'm not saying you're wrong. I just need you to finally come to a spot where you want to stop.
making me annoyed, not talking nonstop.
I put they're making me go insane, but they were definitely annoying along the same lines too. Why, Isabel? What is the definition of literal? Without telling me for the sentence, just in general, what am I looking for?
The word for definition.
Those notes come in handy, don't they? Good job. The word for word definition. Now, even if you'd never seen this phrase before, and I tell my fifth period, you're driving me up a wall, can anyone tell me what this would mean without using the word drive or wall? Yeah. This is the part where you go, Mr. Broviac, I'm a natural globetrotter. Yeah, it bothers me too. I get all twitchy thinking about it. Liam?
You are going up a thing of stuff on the school.
That was not confusing at all, but I like where you're going with it. That was definitely some thinking. Herbert?
You are using a motorized vehicle to go up a solid object.
Not bad. I could roll with that one too. Princess?
Oh, I have a question.
Yes, dear.
So, like, you know how, like, you use, like, the Globetrotters as an example? Do they use us?
Well, yeah, whenever it's like you do like a really good job on their team, like they call it doing a hero. At least that's what I assume, because we're so much better than them. I can only assume, like, oh my God, you're a hero, go you. And like, thank you, someday I could be one. I'm like, no, I really am a globetrotter. But that's sort of what I imagined. I went for, I'm in a wheeled vehicle moving up a vertical surface. Not bad, I think it's sort of the same idea. Let's practice another one. This, for tomorrow. Tomorrow's quiz is a piece of cake. Let's baby step you through it. Monkey, baby step first. What are the two definitions that go in the yellow?
Figurative and literal.
Go you, figurative and the literal. What is monkey? What is my definition of figurative?
What we know the phrase to mean.
Nicely done. What we know the phrase to mean. Have you ever heard the phrase that this test is a piece of cake? What am I saying about tomorrow's quiz?
It's easy.
Well done. This assessment is extremely easy. Then the literal then is going to be the word for word. Once again, you cannot use test, piece, or cake. Bouncy?
This worksheet is a piece of
Can't use piece.
a slice
Yes.
of sugary dessert that's on a platter.
That would work. Nicely done. Aubrey?
This quiz is a cup.
I'll roll with that. It's got cake in it, but it's got the cup in front of it. Kind of makes it okay. Joan Jett?
This quiz tastes delicious.
Good, but you went a little bit off in a different direction because you had to be a bit more closer to it. But I probably should not eat the quiz, but you might taste it tomorrow. Princess?
Could you say, like, this quiz is going to be easy?
For the figurative, yes.
Okay, never mind.
But for the literal, no, you have to go back and redo it the word for word. And I went for this quiz is a tasty frosted dessert. Not bad. All right, let's see. Ooh, it's raining cats and dogs. Well, first off, what are my two definitions?
Figurative and literal.
Good job. I figured at this point we can sort of do them together. What does figurative mean? We do it together with.
Common definition, what we know it to be.
Works for me. You guys did two different definitions at the same time, but it works. If I say yesterday, once again referring to my cross-country runners, it was raining cats and dogs. Muscles. Can't use rain. Don't you grumpy face me. Nicely done. I put large drops of water are falling from the sky. What does literal mean?
Funny
definition.
You, the word for word. Once again, you cannot use rain, cat, or dog. Kennedy?
It's pouring random creatures out of the sky.
Not bad. Pouring random creatures out of the sky. Wyatt?
Canines and felines are falling from the sky.
That's rather disturbing.
Yeah, those
because
are
that's
bad.
exactly what happens. Felines and canines are
Oh my
dropping from.
gosh.
I know.
Oh my god.
It's like he's in my brain. Scary place.
That's
weird.
It's not weird. It's called being incredibly smart. Good job, Wyatt.
knew exactly what you put though.
No, he said falling,
He
not
was
dropping,
shady.
but it's so
That's-
close.
Ooh. Let's throw one. How many of you guys have seen this idiom? He is a silver-tongued devil.
No.
I was aiming for one that I did not think you guys had seen before. So first off, what are my two definitions? Good job. Figurative and literal.
I have no clue.
On the literal, if you've never seen it before, you can still do the literal definition. What would be my literal definition on this one? And then I'll tell you what the figurative is, because you've never seen it before. Now remember, you cannot use silver, tongue, or devil when you go through and do it. Monkey.
He is a little mean. Red.
You can't. Oh. Yes, you can.
We'll come back to you then. All right. Palooza?
He's a metal mouthed red person.
That would work. Metal mouth, red person. Bouncy.
That person is a pointy horned creature with a muscle made of metal.
Not bad. I went for, he is a demon with a mouth muscle that is very shiny. Yeah, the figurative, which was that was figurative mean?
The common definition.
Common definition. Well,
And what it is, if you're a silver-tongued devil, it means he is a smooth talker and is very convincing. Something along those lines. Or Mr. Kite. I'm going to jump ahead a couple. I had some comics that went along with it. Raw comic. Sometimes like this one, until you stay with us till you get back on your feet. Yeah, I put it on my door out there. A lot of times comic strips will use idioms because you can do the literal definition, the funny definition, and when you draw a picture of it, it comes out looking kind of funny. And don't worry, Daryl's just going to stay with us until he gets back on his feet. You have Daryl and then his feet off to the side, the literal definition. Another one, you are a couch potato. As you go through that one, you are lazy, do nothing with your life. The literal, can't use couch, can't use potato. So I went for a brown sofa-dwelling vegetable. Comic strip goes along with that one. This would be a guy who has turned into a potato. So there he is. Afraid he's been a couch potato for too long, so he's now turning off. He looks like a scary monster, but he's supposed to be a potato.
He looks like a rabbit.
He looks like a human.
Skip the runaway train one. So a runaway train, I put a young choo-choo that is left home and is living on the streets. These runaway trains there. Here's what I'm going to have you guys end up doing for your homework. So we're going to take look at a couple examples here. If you flip your paper over, so you're looking at the side with all the writing on it, you're going to be doing this same thing. What I want you to do first is take your writing utensil, in the top left corner where it says directions, circle the word directions. Then draw an arrow to the word directions, because this will be the biggest thing where no one follows the directions. And then when you turn it in, you'll be like, what? There were directions? And then right above the word directions, you're going to write Wednesday, October 5th. Because that's when it comes due.
Wednesday.
Wednesday, October 5th. So I gave you just under a week to get it done.
No, I'm serious.
Alright. What I'm going to have you do, Kennedy,
I spelled Wednesday.
W-E-D,
Wednesday.
you are going to pick an idiom that we have not talked about in class today. So I did, don't let the cat out of the bag. What you'll do for that one is once you pick your idiom, you're going to do the figurative definition. And do you guys know what it means, you don't let the cat out of the bag?
Don't spill
That would be another idiom. But you're right, that does mean the same thing, but you just use an idiom to define an idiom. Gumball?
Please don't tell a secret.
Nice done. So you'd write down the figurative definition, then you draw a picture of it. So here they put, don't tell the secret, and there's a guy over there who's refusing to talk about, just like me, some little demon creature. Then you're going to do the literal one. And what would be the literal definition of don't let the cat out of the bag? Can't use cat or bag.
Sack. Feline.
don't let
There
it
you
feel like
Don't let the feline escape from the sack. And so they drew the picture of the same thing there.
Why is
Why is there one person pulling his tail?
I'm in a pickle. So same idea. If you did the figurative, what does the figurative mean, monkey?
The definition?
Well, what do you know what it means if someone says I'm in a pickle?
Yeah.
The figurative is what?
Like, I'm in a mess.
Nicely done. Which is also another idiom, by the way. To me, they put I'm in trouble. Because apparently they're burning down a house with a lollipop or something like that.
I think that's a match.
I don't even.
No, it's a
That's
lollipop.
Oh, that
impressive.
would be a match. I thought it was a lollipop.
Oh,
It looks
that's
like a
impressive.
lollipop.
Aubrey, you know the literal?
Liquid jar.
Works for me. They did, I'm stuck in a salty soaked cucumber, but the same idea. And so that's what I have you do. What I'll have you do is you need to fill the box, color it in, writing will be in pen, drawings can be pen or pencil. If you do stick figures, put clothing on your stick figures. Don't give me naked stick figures, it's disturbing. If you can't put clothing on them, you just put a box on the bottom and a box on the top, and we'll count that as clothing. That way I'm not dealing with naked, creepy stick figures.
What?
Big things to remember, when it comes due, follow the directions. That's pretty much it.
Mr. Brovia.
Good job, see you later.